There's a sock on my floor in the background. Greetings and welcome to episode 178 of the Words About Gamescast, the weekly video game podcast for Words About Games. I'm your host, Amy Alexander. I'm joined this week by the larger-than-life Mr. Moody.
Larger than
Larger
life.
than
I
life.
like that.
You're full
I
screen,
like that.
and I'm in the corner, so I was like,
Hell
you're
yeah.
larger than life.
Larger than life. I like that, Amy.
You're
I'm gonna put
larger
that on
than
my own podcast.
life. Do it. You take
Hell
it.
yeah.
It's not ripping me off if it's a gift.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Thank you for having me on. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Like, it's cool. Like, I was gonna make a thing about how I'd just gone down this big list, but like, no, this person can't come, this person can't come, and then I was like, that's not true. I asked my normal podcast co-host couldn't come. I asked one person, they're in a wedding in Scotland. I can't really complain about that. And then I was like, Mr. Moody, he's a podcaster.
You saw the gloriousness. That was me.
I needed some gloriousness. It's been too
Yeah,
long.
man. I bring all the glory, me.
It's been too long since I've had gloriousness in my life. So before we do the podcast and we do the video game thing and it gets all dark and depressing because of the video games and stuff, tell everybody who you are.
I am Mr. Moody, aka the Glorious One. I run a movie podcast, but I also love video games. I'm also studying to become a video game developer at Gateshead College here in the Northeast. Grew up with him, absolutely adore him. Favorite game this year is Resident Evil Remake 2. Or Resident Evil 2 Remake. Came out wrong, that one. Grew up with them, and I just, make noise. Yeah. Basically it, I would say.
Don't worry about
Quick,
noise or
simple.
anything. This is not a professional outfit. I don't pretend to be something I'm not. We can just roll with it. Where can people find your podcast?
You can find it on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify now, I've just been told,
Ooh.
and SoundCloud under the Glorious Movies Show.
Hell yeah, and it is glorious. Trust me.
Thank you.
I've been on it.
Hell yeah, man. You came on with me and spoilt the hell out of Infinity War and Endgame.
That's
It was
how
a good old day. It was a good 2 hours on each episode, that was.
That was long. It was long. I remember I couldn't speak afterwards. My throat was so hoarse, and then I realized, like, I looked at the call log afterwards, and we'd been on for like 2 hours and 40 minutes. I was like, that was a good podcast, though.
Hell yeah, man. Talking about Endgame, you can't ask for that. Can't ask for much more than that.
No, definitely not. Hopefully I get an invite again when Star Wars comes out, maybe.
Rise of Skywalker? Well, I think I might be able to fit you in there, me. I'll check my diary for you.
Just not to put you on the spot or anything. Just...
As long as you go and see it, that's the thing. You don't go to cinema that much.
I mean, I'll go and see Star Wars. I'll go and see Avengers. Like, if there was a Star Trek, I'd go and see... Like, there's some things I'll go and see. But most things, I just wait for Netflix,
That's
Amazon, fair. Google Play, whatever. Like, I only just watched
Star
John Wick
Wars
for the first time.
special. The end of the Skywalker saga.
Oh, I can't wait. But we're not here to talk about films. We are here to talk about video games. Each week we discuss 5 stories centered around what's been going on in games, gaming, the industry, and games culture. I always mess this part up because I think I've done it hundreds of times. I can do it without reading it, and I never can. Over the past 7 days, before giving you a rundown of the games that are launching in the coming week. This week, we're discussing Shawn Layden leaving PlayStation, crossplay finally being unlocked on PS4, the continuing spat between Gearbox and Troy Baker, the developers of Monument Valley being accused of union busting, and the Writers Guild of America dropping their award for video game writing. I love the reactions. No one's ever done that before when I'm reading the headlines. I love it.
I said I'll bring something glorious to it. Didn't say it would be great, but I said it would be glorious.
You're hired. I want you to stay forever.
Hell yeah.
There are timestamps in the video description below the video on YouTube. Check them out. You can watch this podcast in any order you want. Hey, you know, just because I put it in a certain order doesn't mean you have to watch it in a certain order. Should we dive in?
Hell yeah, that's just to state it for fact. You don't want to do this timestamps. You just want to listen to it all.
Yeah, man. Like, if you go skip forward to number 5, right? Like the last story, there's gonna be so many like callbacks and inside jokes that we've had for like the hour that's come before it.
Hell yeah, man.
Speaking of which, I need to press go.
It's gonna be good.
Timer, so I know how long we've been going for. Something I always forget to do.
Let's
All
do
right.
this.
Let's do this. Number 1, Shawn Layden departs Sony Interactive Entertainment. This is from Rebecca Valentine over at GamesIndustry.biz, who writes, Sony Interactive Entertainment's Shawn Layden is leaving the company after decades in various roles and 3 years as chairman of Worldwide Studios. Quote, it is with great emotion that we announce that Worldwide Studios chairman Shawn Layden will be departing SIE, reads a tweet from the official PlayStation account. His visionary leadership will be greatly missed. We wish him success in future endeavours and are deeply grateful for his years of service. Thanks everything, Shawn. End quote. No details were offered as to the reasoning for Layden's departure, any future plans for the former Sony boss, or who his replacement at Sony will be. And then it's just a bunch of stuff that he did. Basically, he joined Sony in the 80s, he's worked at Sony for like a million years, and now he's left. And it's weird. Is this weird? This is weird.
This came out of nowhere. There's no doubt about it. It's the most weird thing about it is that it's just a tweet.
Yeah.
Nothing more, nothing else. Kotaku haven't got the exclusiveness to it or anything like that. Nothing. It's nobody. It's literally just like, boom. There we go. Let's break the internet for a day.
Like a tweet
or something like that. And
nowhere.
it's, yeah, it's, something's got to have happened on behind the scenes here for them to make it this lazy for just tweeting out. It seems very lazy, this, to me.
Yeah, it's like Sony. Oh man, like being like someone who gets like Sony press releases in her inbox, like they email about everything, like all the time, like Sony this, like this surpassed this milestone of like selling an extra 26 plus. Like they send emails about literally everything, and then yeah, this was just one tweet from the Sony account. And that was it. There was no, like you say, there was no 10,000 word Jason Schreier interview with Shawn Layden about it. There's no like, oh, and you know, such and such will be stepping up into the role of, what was his role again? Like, what was his official title?
He's chairman. He was Worldwide Studio chairman, basically. He was the High Lord, basically.
He was the dude, right?
PlayStation, yeah. He's the guy who took over Jack Tretton, who was the High Lord of PlayStation at the time and everything. So it's really, really weird. Like I say, I've heard like I think someone came out who was anonymous who said that there's been behind the scenes tension between him and the new guy who runs Europe, I believe.
Jim Ryan?
Yeah, I think they've been clashing, and it looks like that Jim Ryan's won out basically, and Shawn Layden's left. Or Shawn Layden has got an offer somewhere else. A lot of people are throwing Stadia, Google at that, and they're just like, oh, you're going to our competitor, go now, you know?
Yeah, because that's what would happen, right? Like, you wouldn't, like, if you go into a competitor, like, when you're in a high-level executive job, like, you don't have to work notice, because as long as you work a notice, you can get secret inside information.
All the secrets. More secrets.
That you totally don't already know because you're the chairman of Worldwide Studios.
Well, yeah, he's pretty high up, so he probably knows everything. So,
like, yeah.
I was very surprised, like when I heard Jack Trenton leave, and then when this guy came in, he had such big shoes to fill, and I think overall, I would say he filled them pretty well.
Oh, Shawn Layden was great, yeah.
Yeah. He did a very good job. He was very very well versed with the fans. He was always teasing and everything, like when he teased Crash.
And then the year after, the T-shirt at PSX when he came out, and I was so excited because he was wearing a Crash T-shirt, and then there was no Crash, Moody. There was no Crash till 6 months later. He got me. I'm not gonna lie, he got me.
PSX was like, are they gonna do a Crash now?
Yeah, Crash. They're bringing Crash back. I remember shouting and ranting and raving on the podcast afterwards, like, "Where's Crash? Where's Crash?"
The only thing that, like, the even more surprising part is that we all know PlayStation 5's coming. They're probably having a reveal event. Probably by March. I think everyone's surmising, everyone's thinking they're probably going to do the same thing they did PlayStation 4. Do it like around the February, March time. So that means they're gearing up for that.
Yeah.
And now they're changing leadership. If Shawn wanted to leave and everything like that, I mean, it's best to get him out, get a new leader in as soon as possible, and continue with the vision they're prepping up for PlayStation 5. But it's a distraction. They don't want this. They wouldn't want this.
No, definitely not. Like whatever Shawn Layden his input has been in like the direction of PlayStation, like as PlayStation 5 launches, like that's no one's going to be able to like change that for a while. It'll be, I imagine it'll be kind of the same situation as when Don Matrick left Xbox and Phil Spencer came in, and there was that sort of year or two where it was still kind of Don Matrick's vision for the Xbox. Before Phil started actually making changes, and we still had the Kinect bundled in, and Snap, and TV, and
yeah, but we're not popping champagne that Shawn Layden left. We're popping champagne for that guy left.
No, we were popping champagne when Don Matrick left, like without a doubt. No, but Shawn Layden leaving isn't a great thing. Like, it could be like it could propel PlayStation to new and unexplored heights. But I liked Shawn Layden. I remember first time I remember seeing him at E3. I put a tweet. I was live tweeting because this was before live streaming. Like, was a thing for like most people.
Well,
I remember live tweeting. Yeah,
the galaxy far, far away. That was.
What? You mean I haven't always made YouTube videos since the moment I was born? What?
No.
Yeah, I remember tweeting about the mafia boss that came out on stage because he looked like a mafia boss. Telling me I needed to. I think he was talking about PlayStation TV, like powers when that was a thing.
Yeah, I think that was the second E3, was it?
Yeah,
third?
It's the first one
so
I remember
nervous.
him at. Yeah,
he was so nervous. You could see he was, and I was just like, I like you already, just because you're petrified and you know you don't want to screw up, and you didn't. Fair play, he didn't.
No,
so.
Anybody who's nervous going onto a stage that big, like, you get the sympathy point straight away.
Yeah. Or is it you have thousands of people in the place, and then you have hundreds of thousands, if not millions, watching you.
All sarcastically, like, tweeting. Or I guess live streaming.
Wanting you to fail. Wanting you to mess up somehow. And have, so you can become a meme.
Yeah, it's not vindictive. It's just like, if you fuck up, we get, like, the Mr. Caffeine video.
Yeah.
You know, like, if you succeed, yeah, it's good for like games and stuff, but you know, we can't really do much with a good show.
Yeah. Now the question is obviously who replaces him? Is it that Ryan guy who's just been promoted himself, or does Shu finally take over?
Oh, Shu would be a good one. I'd like to see Shu in the role because I love Shu. I remember when he was at EGX years ago.
He's aloof.
He's still doing his thing. Like he's very quiet on Twitter. Until, like, a game he's promoing comes out, and then he just goes fucking ballistic.
He's like an RKO out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He prepares to strike. And then, woof,
boom.
He swooshes in there.
Shoes everywhere. Like, oh, God, okay.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like, I think everyone, was at the beginning of this generation, he was basically becoming the mascot, just like Phil came the mascot before he got promoted in Microsoft. And then he just went away.
Well, they stopped doing, like, because I remember like, E3 has gone by of bygone eras. Like, they used to have everybody come out on stage. Like, you used to get Shu and Shawn and Gio Corsi and like just a bunch of people. And then, like, the last couple of E3s, at least, like, you might have had Shawn Layden come out on stage.
Not this E3.
Not this E3. Nobody could find them.
They were there.
Yeah. Sure they were.
Consoles of them were there.
Yeah, there was PlayStations at E3. Like, what are you talking about? But like, yeah, they didn't really have like that presence of like people, like recognizable faces coming out and talking to you, which was a shame because I always like it when a company like gives you like recognizable faces and recognizable people to, like latch onto. Like Nintendo does it so well, with like Doug Bowser and Miyamoto and Sakurai.
Like Phil Spencer's becoming that as well.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it. So PlayStation have now lost. They've only got really Shu, because I don't think really anyone when they see Ryan, even when I see Ryan, you don't see a guy who is enthusiastic in the business. He literally looks like a corporate guy. He literally looks like a guy who's worked at EA. I don't mean that in a bad way. He's worked his ass off to do what he's doing and everything, but he literally does just look like a corporate guy. And us as gamers, we don't want to see that.
No, we want to see Phil Spencer coming out in his He's got the blazer on, but he's also got a Battletoads t-shirt on. It's like,
Oh yeah,
yeah, you're one of us. You're a gamer, right? You like games.
You're just a smart dude who's become a multi-millionaire who leads a giant company. Respect.
And doing it well.
What?
Yeah. No, it'd be cool like to see this. It's like you know who I want to get. I want to get behind and support for like the new chairman of Worldwide Studios, Greg Miller, because he's going to give us the Vita 2, and that's all it takes. where do I go vote?
Thing's dead.
That's why we need another one.
We don't need a new one when the first one died. The first one died when it was launched.
How very dare you, Moody? I'm starting to have second thoughts about inviting you on this podcast. If you're going to diss the Vita like that, like that's not cool.
You can mute me for the rest of the year.
That's not cool, man. That's like just because I was on an Xbox podcast for a while.
But they didn't bitch about the Vita. Oh wait a minute, he did.
He did.
No, yes, I think Greg would do that. He would try to anyway, and then he would be sacked within a month because he tried too hard.
When he spends the entire like operating budget on Patapon 2 and Vita 2, like he'd probably get sacked. But it'd be a fun month for sure.
It would be. It would be a very fun month, and then he was singing, "Hey, why are you back at it? Kind of funny already."
They just never filled the position.
That's true, because they knew.
Just expecting him to come back.
He was coming back within a month. They know he is. I don't know who takes over. I think everyone, gamers probably say Shu, but it's probably not going to be. I don't know. We'll see what happens though. But like I said, just good luck to Shawn. Whatever you're doing, mate. Whatever you got planned, good luck.
Yeah, man.
And everything. And I hope deep down that it's just that you've decided to move on. It's not that something's happened behind the scenes or anything like that. It does sound like it, sadly, but hopefully it hasn't been that, and you've gone out on your own 2 feet.
Just decided you want to go to a beach, like done with this lifestyle. Just retire
put on a Hawaiian
Hawaii,
shirt, put on those shorts, flip flops, walking on that warm beach with your coconut. Can't ask for much more, there, man.
Still got the Crash T-shirt, but it's like framed and hanging.
Hell yeah. It's the day I became a legend.
Yeah. It'll be one of those stories.
Pissed off a few people for 6 months.
Yeah, like a lot of people were really angry with me. And that rage sustained me.
But it was paid when I paid them back.
Yeah. Conference of Dreams, that was. God, I nearly had a heart attack in that when I watched that. Anyway, should we move on to the next news story?
Why not?
Why?
I think it's PlayStation again, but I don't know. It is.
All we're talking about today is PlayStation and unions.
And Troy Baker. I don't mind Troy Baker.
Troy Baker, but even the Troy Baker thing. I mean, I love Troy Baker, but it is mostly about union stuff.
That's true. That's true.
Like, it's a weird the way all the stories have shaken out. Number 2. Sometimes it's just fortuitous like that. Like, that's not the word I was looking for, but it's the word I'm going with.
It's a good word.
Thanks. That fucking writing degree really paid off for me. Number 2, PS4 crossplay features reportedly out of beta, now available to all developers. This is from Matt Wales over at Eurogamer, who writes, PlayStation 4's crossplay functionality is reportedly now out of beta and available to any developer that wishes to use it in their games. Sony initially announced that it would be enabling cross-play support for gameplay progression and commerce between PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, Mac, Android, and iOS last September, following increasing pressure from both developers and consumers. Up to that point, the publisher had continued to drag its heels over cross-console play, arguing in June 2017 that its stance was necessary to protect children, despite it already having been enthusiastically embraced by rival platform holders. Fortnite, yeah. Now, though, as reported by Wired in an interview with Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Jim Ryan, PlayStation 4's cross-play functionality has completed its beta phase and can be utilized by any developer wishing to incorporate the feature in its games. The next big name title to make use of the newly liberated service is likely to be Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which releases later this month on the 25th of October. Crossplay is finally a thing!
Finally,
now
that basically they've literally put it in the developers' hands now.
Yeah,
they're just like, oh, you can do it. You want to do it, do it. If you don't want to do it, don't come bitching at us, basically. That's basically what it is. It's just like, oh, don't blame us. Blame them. They didn't put it on it or anything like that. That's basically what it is now. And this should have happened ages ago. We all know it is and everything. It's fantastic. They're setting themselves, even though they've just had a person leave, they're also showing that they are getting themselves set up for PlayStation 5 because this is going to be one of the biggest things next generation. There's no doubt.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's not, like, it is cool, like, for it to not necessarily matter which console you get, because I remember, like, so here's what happened, right? So about a year before the last, I'm going on a story here. It's story time.
Tell us that story.
Oh, it's a good story. I don't think I've told it on this podcast in its entirety before, but basically about a year before last generation ended, so like 2012 sort of time, like I had just got a gaming PC. So I was like, fucking great. I've got a gaming PC. I've got an Xbox 360. I've got a PS3. Didn't have a Wii. Just didn't.
No one did they?
I had a Wii U.
I thought that's what you meant. I won't lie. When you said the Wii, I literally just went to the U.
No, I got a Wii on launch day. That was a whole other story I might tell at some point. But yeah, because I had a fight. I like the story behind me getting that is ridiculous. But so yeah, like I had the consoles, and then I had this gaming PC, and I was like, you know what, the next generation's coming. I'm pretty sure I was planning to like travel to EGX. So I was like, for the very first time. So I was like, I want some money. So I got all my Xbox games. I got my Xbox 360. I got my PS3, which I'd had for about 3 months. I had one game for it.
Poor PS3. Didn't stand a chance.
Didn't ever, no. And I just grabbed them all up and I just sold them. Took the money, whatever. I had a PC, right? It was cool. Between me selling it and the next generation happening, it was a terrible idea. But between me selling them and the next generation of consoles happening, GTA 5 came out, The Last of Us came out, and I was sitting here on my PC just like, I made a horrible mistake.
You could wait a year for GTA 5. Oh, no, they didn't even do the PC version until the next gen, did they?
No, it was like they did PS4 and Xbox One first, and then they did, like, by the time they got around to, like, re-releasing the game on a console I could play it on, I was like, the moment's passed. You know how sometimes where it's like, the moment's passed now.
Gone.
Like, I'm just not going to bother. Like, Fix hates me for it, but I never played GTA 5.
Neither did I.
Yes. It's overrated.
Yes. Even though I never played it.
No, I never played it. GTA is overrated.
I like Vice.
I like San Andreas. I remember playing that. But yeah, what happened was when the new consoles were coming out in the next gen, I could buy one, and despite the fact that like I mainly gamed on Xbox 360 and everyone I like play games with like gamed on Xbox 360, I'd been to EGX and I kind of wanted a PlayStation a little bit more than I wanted an Xbox. So I bought a PS4 at launch with a Vita. I didn't get any games with it, I just bought it with a Vita. I had to rely on like PS Plus games.
Well, they had a really good idea for doing what Switch does now, basically with transferring to the game.
You say that, but I tried remote play. I tried it.
Yeah.
I was playing Killzone because when I finally got a game, the first game I got was Killzone. That's not a good game. And I tried. I was like, I'm going to play this on remote play. I'm going to lie in bed with my Vita and I'm going to play Killzone, Shadowfall multiplayer. It was like the lag was input lag of about 5 seconds.
It was a good idea. It just didn't pay off.
Yeah. It was a good thought. Good try. But no. So, but yeah, like, because I got this PS4 and I didn't get an Xbox till like Titanfall came out the next year. I was kind of like adrift on an island. Like, everybody else had Xboxes. I had a PlayStation. And it was like, I want to play games with my friends. Tough. You bought the wrong console.
Hello.
Just because
it's a shame we didn't know each other then, Amy, because I had a PlayStation at the beginning.
Like, I hope The Last of Us was worth it because you're not playing multiplayer with anybody. I was like, well, it kind of was, to be fair.
It was worth it.
It was so worth it when I finally got to play The Last of Us Remastered. But yeah, like I like the fact that that's not a non-issue. Oh, it's going to be a non-issue going into this generation. So, like, you could theoretically buy an Xbox and I could theoretically buy a PlayStation and we could still play, like, whatever together. Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
The game of...
But you only play Overwatch, so I don't like that.
I don't even play Overwatch anymore.
Never mind.
To be honest,
Yeah,
I
I
say
know
all
a friend
this.
of ours.
Okay, go on.
I know a friend of ours has been questioning, does he go to PlayStation or something like that? Because because of the exclusives basically and all the good deals they're doing and everything. But now if this is how it's going to be with the crossplay and everything, he's now safe. He can stay with the console he prefers to be on, and that's fantastic and everything. So there's no downside to this. It's all now under the developers, and the developers have all said they want to do it. So
Yeah, I mean, like, who wouldn't, right? Like, you keep you like, especially for multiplayer games, like, you can keep the servers a lot more populated and like a lot more people in the game by like having like a mixed queue from like all different platforms, which
yeah,
it's great. Like, games can stay alive, whereas maybe necessarily they might not have back in the day of complete console segregation. Like, Lawbreakers might have stood a chance. I just got a giant notification that you took a snapshot there.
yeah, because I'm showing what's happened on my end. I don't know what's happened.
Your screen's gone a bit green.
Yeah, you've gone green, not me.
Oh, you've gone green on mine. That's interesting. Sky.
I'm thinking, what's going on here?
No, if anyone who watches this show regularly will just be like, yeah, they've gone green. Like, this just something always happens.
I was struck on fire.
I was having a conversation with Keith a few weeks ago about something, and I didn't realize I was doing all of the talking, and I hadn't realized he'd frozen, and that lasted for a good like 3 minutes before I just kind of went, Keith,
You alive?
are you
alive?
Keith, blink, do something, move.
Breathe, man, breathe.
Oh, his internet's gone. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I love like the idea of crossplay is just fantastic. The only thing I hate the idea of is if I'm playing a shooter on an Xbox or PS4 and I come across someone on PC, that's not cool because they're gonna fucking destroy me with a keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, they have to regulate that. They basically have to give you the option, don't play with people with keyboard and mouse.
I would like to enjoy this game. Thank you.
Yeah. Something like that. That's true. Like, that's true.
Yeah. I need a multiplayer game though, because like nothing's grabbing me recently.
Siege.
And like, no, I've tried Siege. It's too much pressure. I crack and crumble.
Well, I've just rented, because we do the same thing, we rent from Boomerang. I've just rented a Breaking Point.
Oh, I've got that.
Yeah, I just got that. I've just installed it, so I'm going to crack on that probably tomorrow.
Sweet. I look forward. Maybe I'll invite you back next week. We can talk about Ghost Recon.
Oh, yeah, man.
I don't know how much I'll be able to talk about it because my Xbox One controller, which famously I broke the rubber off the analog stick while I was playing Dead Cells. That's how furiously I was playing Dead Cells last year. It's now completely gone. There's no rubber on it whatsoever. But now that one of the triggers is jamming, it's the fire trigger.
What are you doing to your controllers?
I just game really furiously. Like, look, I'm very intense. I've got a new one coming. I bought a Design Lab controller, but I'm just waiting for it to turn up and hoping that my controller like lasts that long. Yeah,
It'll break the day it arrives. You can have a funeral and everything.
I'll just do a funny video where I just destroy it.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure we were talking about something. Oh yeah,
Crossplay.
Crossplay. I don't have anything else to say about crossplay except it's really good.
All fantastic, like you say. All under developers now, so nothing more.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Be able to play with all my friends on PlayStation.
Who you had none on PlayStation anyway, because you went there the first year.
Yeah, I don't think I have any
came to PlayStation. So even though the Xbox started so badly, their marketing and everything was so bad, all your friends still stuck with them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Damn,
it's one of those things. Like, just before it came out, I don't know how much of this story I should tell. I went for a job interview at Game, right? And it was that thing of, like, everybody who was there for the job interview obviously knew about games. And obviously PlayStation was, like, in terms of, like, public perception, was, like, leagues ahead of Xbox because of the two reveals. And I think E3 had happened by that point as well. But at the same time, it's like people who aren't as into this stuff as we are, like sitting here doing a podcast, like they had an Xbox, so they just want the next Xbox.
That's
because
true.
that's the one that they have, and that's the one that they're used to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what happened. It was like people had Xboxes, so they just got Xboxes. I was like, but PlayStation though, and that fell on deaf ears.
Yeah, like the first full, like the year leading up to them, are basically their marketing is all at us, but then after that they go to the bigger audience, which is the general audience, basically the casuals and everything who they play the FIFAs, the Call of Duties all the time and everything.
Yeah, it's like it's harder to like change the minds of people who aren't necessarily super paying attention to what's going on. Like, whereas we like if someone fucked up, we just go, no, okay, fine, I'm gonna get the other thing, or I'm not gonna get that anymore. Like,
that's true. Like,
yeah, hyper aware of it, but we're also like, teeny tiny minority. Anyway, let's move on.
We can be loud.
We can be loud.
We want to be.
Like that time Shawn Layden trolled me. I was very loud then, wasn't I?
You got what you wanted 6 months later.
I did, yeah. Like, it worked. It worked. Like, one of my big things with this podcast, I'm sure you know, like, I probably did it on my Xbox and me, was whenever I did something or said something or, like, asked for something, if it happens, I take full credit for it. Because it was obviously me. I obviously did that.
I took full credit on Fixer's podcast saying that Xbox will combine Game Pass with Gold. I said that at the beginning of this year.
I remember. I was watching.
I said that, people.
Hell yeah, you did.
Can all thank me. Phil Spencer obviously watched, and he said, "All right, this guy's got a good idea." I'm never going to hire him when he's in the business, but whatever. Probably.
Yeah, totally. You're gonna be working there. You're gonna be doing some great stuff. Like,
hell yeah.
In a few years,
we'll be sticking to Phil Spencer's ass. And
damn right. I remember in a podcast
everywhere.
Damn right. That's the best way to do it. I look forward to seeing you at E3.
Just following him.
Just following him. Literally, Phil Spencer on stage, and you're just following him out. You just stand there in the background. Just when you do that, wear a Perfect Dark t-shirt.
The tease, the future.
Just tease it. Just tease it for me.
It'll be Fable 4.
No, I remember offhandedly.
It ain't happening.
Yeah, on the back when you turn around and leave. Suckers. Oh man, no, I remember on a podcast when it was still called Project. What was it called? What was the
Scarlet.
Xbox One X called?
See that?
Scorpio. Was it
Scorpio?
Project
Scorpio, yeah, or the Scorpio.
I was sick of calling it Project Scorpio because it was at that point where we were talking about it every couple of weeks, and I just offhandedly called it the Xbox One X, like 5 months before E3, and everybody was like, "That's a shit name," and I was like, "What's wrong with Xbox One X? Like, they could call it Xbox One X."
Oh, well, I was thinking it was going to be the XL, so I put too many letters on.
The acronym would be Xbox. It makes perfect sense. Anyway, let's move on.
And this is the thing. We're going to be arguing about names next year about them.
Yeah, probably. Like
Xbox 2, even though it's the fourth one.
Even though it's the fourth one. Xbox 42.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
They can call themselves 2 still, but they're actually the fourth one.
Yeah, it's the 42. Well, a meaning of life, man. Like... I'm gonna move on. I'm loving the tangents we're having. It's amazing, but
Troy Baker time.
Troy Baker time.
Like
Number 3. Gearbox wouldn't go union for Borderlands 3, so Troy Baker wouldn't voice Rhys. This is from Nicole Carpenter over at Polygon, who writes, "Tales from the Borderlands actor Troy Baker, who played Rhys Strongfork in Telltale Games' adventure game, turned down the role in Borderlands 3," Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford said earlier this year. But what he left out was that it was because Gearbox reportedly refused a union agreement that would allow Baker to work on the game. Baker told VG 24/7 that he turned down the role because Gearbox wouldn't go union. The voice actor is a member of American labor union SAG-AFTRA, which fights for fair treatment of workers in the industry. In 2017, the union reached a deal that ended an 11-month strike against video game companies. Quote, "I can't do a non-union gig," Baker said. Union members can only accept union work. He continued, "And without getting too deep into the weeds of this, we had long conversations about this. We always knew going into it that this was going to be the thing. They were going to take these characters and put them from the Tales from the Borderlands series from Telltale into Borderlands proper. I've been waiting for this call. They were like, do you want to do this? And I said, yes. Because they would never move from that position. I'm not mad. It's invariably a completely different character, but it still stings. SAG-AFTRA released a statement confirming Gearbox refused and disengaged from union talks. Quote, the misguided decision of Gearbox to deny their performers the opportunity to have fair union wages, a safe workplace, and the possibility of health care coverage for their families is unfortunate, as SAG-AFTRA representation said in a statement of Polygon. Pretty sure that should be a representative. This always happens. I copy-paste stories and I don't proofread them. And clearly neither did the editors. A Gearbox representative provided a statement to Polygon after publication. Quote, Troy is an exceptional talent and we were disappointed that he declined to partner on Borderlands 3 after being offered the part. We wish him the best and hope he knows the offer to collaborate with him still stands. Gearbox is a Texas company and is bound by Texas law, which means that a person cannot be denied employment because of membership or non-membership in a labour union or other labour organisation. As a talent-owned and talent-led organisation, Gearbox enthusiastically works to ensure our pay and working conditions meet or exceed union standards. We also believe strongly in hiring local voice actors whenever we can, which is why we're thrilled Troy's career really took off after working with us. I hate that last line.
The thing is, when it comes to that last line, it is true.
I know
Troy's
it's true.
even said that. That's the thing about it.
That's one of the reasons I hate it. You just had to remind everybody.
Yeah, it's because of us.
We are
you like
responsible
it
for this.
Even though deep down, I think it basically blew up when The Last of Us happened. Basically.
I mean, once The Last of Us happened, it was like, that was it, wasn't it? Like, Troy Baker was going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts
like
on all of this?
It's sucky, it really is. I won't lie, personally, for what Gearbox have done with the character Rhys in this game, I'm kind of glad he didn't do it. Because I just don't like what they did with his character. He's annoying and more annoying than he was in the Tales of the Borderlands, personally, for me. Yeah, this is the thing. Gearbox all developers need to know that this is going to happen. They need to... Troy Baker is a very protected man. He's also very protected and also very helpful with voice acting and everything. He loves doing it, and he's, like I say, he's part of the board in it with it, and it's just... Why would they just not do it, man? It's for me, I think it's more, I think like the part like with what the idiot Randy Pitchford came out with saying and all like that. I think there's more to this, and I think just Troy's being very diplomatic with what he's saying personally.
Yeah, like when it came up the first time, when Randy was saying like, oh, he said no, he didn't want to do it, which as it turns out was quite true. Obviously, Troy was diplomatic-ish when he responded, which was basically just like, that's not the full story. Like,
yeah. And you know it, Randy. That's the thing about
and you know it, Randy. Like, I mean, we've talked about Randy Pitchford so much this year. Like, I'm starting to think he's like the third member of the podcast.
Just put his face in the bottom corner.
I might do one day. I might just put his face in the corner. Like, it's just one day that man is gonna just not go a month without fucking up somehow. Like, or saying something stupid, or leaving a USB drive in a...
Yeah, it's just that all developers need to realize this, that they need to work with this. One of the biggest PlayStation companies in the world, Uncharted, they obviously are able to do this.
Yeah, clearly,
they would have had to, because he's part of Last of Us 2 and everything. So if they can do it, and no offense to Gearbox, they are bigger than you. So if they can do it, you can do it personally. I think it's just a bit of an ego thing with them. They're obviously riding high with the great sales they've had and everything for the Borderlands 3. But yeah, they need to... I don't disagree that their pay and working conditions meet all union standards. Obviously, I don't know that. It would be surprising if it didn't. So if they can meet them, that means they can hire someone for it.
Exactly, right? It's like you can just hire union people.
Yeah, it's not going to hurt your representation at all. It's going to actually benefit you because people wanted Troy there. They wanted him there.
From what I understand, like, yeah, everybody wanted to try to be like this character from Tales from the Borderlands. I'm gonna be
He's
honest,
loved,
Moody.
for God's sakes. He's absolutely loved. Like people have gone nuts just for seeing one little clip of his character in Last of Us 2.
Yes, that is true.
Even though everyone knew he was in it, we all knew he was in it.
It's
We
like,
all
it's
knew
no
this.
surprise, right? Like Joel was going to be in it.
Yeah, no, because they didn't show anything of him since the first teaser trailer. Everyone's just like, "Is he in this?
He's dead.
What's going on?
Oh my god, maybe. What if he's dead? What if he's dead the entire? Like,
Is
no,
he actually dead? Is he a figment of her imagination?"
No.
Oh. Way to go! Shoot on my theory, Amy.
Sorry.
I wasn't thinking. I won't lie. I wasn't thinking.
I know that theory's out there, though, and it's just like,
Oh,
no,
hell yeah.
of course not.
Hell yeah, Amy. That's what everyone wants.
Like,
I don't know.
everybody
That would
always
be
has-
crazy though if that actually happened.
I mean, if
though.
that actually happened, that would be mental. Like, and I would, even though I'll be playing Last of Us 2 in alone, probably in my pajamas, and like, if that was the twist, I would stand up and give them a standing ovation. Even though I would just be doing it
balls.
myself. Just to my TV, just like.
The Naughty Dog, you got cojones.
Yeah, good job. No, damn, you really got me with that one.
Yeah. Gearbox is just like right now. Gearbox, even the only thing that's keeping Gearbox going right now, obviously, is 2K. Or Take-Two, isn't it?
Oh god, I always get these two mixed up. I want to say it's.
One of them has a 2 in. We'll
Two,
say
they
that.
both-
I think it's 2. I think it's 2K.
I'm gonna look it up while you
They're
talk.
around just because of that, because obviously we know they've had some really bad times of late for the games. Battleborn, Aliens, Colonial Marines, and etc. and etc. This is the only franchise they've got is working for them, and we know this.
2K games.
Yeah, so it's just they can't rest on the laurels. Gearbox, they need to keep moving on. They need to keep moving, going along with regulations and everything. And it's just their excuses are just sounding more and more like excuses than ever before. And it's a shame because like Borderlands 2 is one of my favorite games of last generation. I adored that game. I was super excited for Borderlands 3. I haven't even completed it yet. I've been very busy, I won't lie. But
I mean, just any game developer, like, do something meaningful with your life. Like, I can understand if you haven't finished a video game. That's totally understandable.
Thank you.
But
some of my colleagues at college do not believe that.
Yeah.
But they're doing very well as well. So
that's good. That's good. Yeah, it's just another like link in the chain as far as like this is another story like of Gearbox being a bit shitty for no real reason. Like, again, if they're like you say, if their like working conditions meet union standards, like why wouldn't you just hire union talent? I suppose on the flip side of that, you could say that people who aren't like voice actors who aren't represented by the union might not necessarily get the same chances as the people that are. So maybe it's potentially giving like a platform to people who might not necessarily otherwise have the platform. But at the same time, since I've never played Borderlands 3, I don't know who voice acts in it. Apart from not Troy Baker.
The only thing I can think of is also they didn't want to pay as much as what they would have wanted for him.
Yeah, that might be it. Like,
there's that as well. So
yeah, it's probably it's like you can talk around all this other stuff, but it probably did come down to money because it always comes down to money.
Always does. The big question is, who's been talked about the most, Gearbox or BioWare this year?
Ooh, gee. Ooh.
That's the ultimate question, not like, isn't it? Anthem or
Gearbox?
Yeah.
You know what? I might have to go back through all my podcasts and look at all the stuff I talked about and just like have a tally and just see whether we talked about Gearbox or Anthem more. Because it's like, I was like, Gearbox, obviously, but I was like, Gearbox's has been more spread out throughout the year, whereas Anthem happened sort of all at once.
Yeah, that's true. Like, that was all a giant dumpster, burning dumpster trash all over the place.
Yeah, man. And it's still going strong.
They're going to get it right with Dragon Age 4. I believe in them. I don't really.
I don't. I've got a bet on that. That Dragon Age 4 is going to be some sort of online game.
Oh, hell yeah, it is.
Yeah,
I totally agree with that. I think it's going to be fun online personally, which is
I
going to be disappointing
am not looking forward to it.
because I love Dragon Age Inquisition. I
Inquisition
adored that game.
was great. Yeah.
Yeah, I adored that game for me. So
Let's move on.
to another sad part.
Here at the words of our Gamescast, they're all sad parts.
Need more cheery. You should have put the crossplay one at the end, so that would have cheered us up.
Well, I paired up the two PlayStation stories. You're absolutely right. I should have done that, but I was like,
Around.
I would pair the two up. And then
So we started sad-ish, but unsure what's going on with Shawn Layden. Then we go to crossplay,
crossplay,
then Gearbox, and then
Drama.
now this
drama. We talk about we always end on games coming out this week, so that we always pull up out of the nosedive at the end. And I don't know how to pronounce this. Number 4, Ustwo Games accused of union busting. This is from Hayden Taylor over at GamesIndustry.biz. He writes, BAFTA award-winning studio Ustwo Games is facing legal action following accusations of union busting. The Independent Workers' Union of Great Britain is threatening to take action against the Monument Valley developer after key programmer Austin Kelmore was allegedly dismissed for his union activity. In December last year, Game Workers Unite UK was recognised as the official industry branch of IWGB. There's a lot of acronyms in this story. Kelmore, the chair of GWU UK, was allegedly reprimanded after he invited a group of Ustwo employees to a union meeting and was subsequently questioned by management regarding his involvement. In a statement to GamesIndustry.biz, Ustwo Games denied the allegations. Quote, Austin Kelmore is currently an employee of Ustwo Games and will be leaving in the near future for reasons unconnected to his membership of a trade union or his undertaking trade union activities. We have other employees who are members of trade unions. To respect Austin's privacy, it is not appropriate for us to comment further on this matter. Oh, I've just minimised you. My nightlight.
You took away my gloriousness and made me so small.
My nightlight came on and everything went orange.
You're still green on my end.
It's been a banner podcast. However, IWGB alleges that not only did Ustwo Games fire Kelmore for his union activity, it also breached employment law by denying him the right to be accompanied by a union representative during his disciplinary and dismissal meeting. As a US national, the union also raised concerns that Kelmore may lose his right to remain in the UK since losing his job. IWGBG... Try that again.
That sounds like a boxing a boxing title.
It sounds like I just collapsed on my keyboard. IWGBGWU UK branch secretary Jamie Cross said, quote, despite Ustwo's claims of being as much a family as it is a company, it has decided to leave Austin, one of its best developers, completely orphaned. Austin and his family are not only left without their main source of income, but also unsure if they will have to uproot their whole lives and leave the country in a few weeks. The union will not stand idly by in the face of this unlawful and vicious act and is determined to fight back until this decision is reversed either voluntarily or through the courts, end quote. Ustwo has been given the deadline of October 4th to reverse the decision before legal action is filed.
Damn.
Damn
indeed. Jesus. This is crazy.
I can't believe this has happened, but I can't believe this has happened in the UK. Like, this is what's crazy. I mean, like, all of the crazy news stories we've done over the past year about, like, crazy shit fucking games developers make their employees do and stuff. Like, generally it's all been from America. I thought we had the moral high ground. And now, as it turns out, we don't have the moral high ground. We're just as shit as everybody else.
Well, we've got our own personal Trump, so that's why.
Oh, God.
So that's what's happened here. This is terrible, there's no doubt about it. I hope this gets sorted as soon as possible. It's a disgusting thing to think this is happening over here in the UK. There's no doubt about it. I don't know if we'll ever truly find out what has truly gone on here and everything. I won't lie. I don't know if I really want to, though. I just hope that this family is able to get sorted and be able to find somewhere and everything, because game development, even though like I'm getting taught that it's hard as hell, but it can be one of the most rewarding things in the world. This is also showing the dark side of it at the same time,
Yeah.
and it's that it's just if you don't have your priorities right, you can literally get fudged in the butt.
Fudged in the butt. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I mean, I don't like that, but that's not my kink. But I like that turn of phrase. Like, yeah, I mean, it's shitty enough that he got sacked. Like the statement of he's not been sacked for his union activities is probably just a case of we found something he did wrong that we can sack him for, and we sacked him for that, not because of his union activities. Because not officially because of his union activities, but it's the fact.
The worst thing is, it's probably would have been the smallest thing why they've sacked him.
Yeah.
You did not flush the toilet properly, so you are getting sacked.
Disciplinary. No, what? Oh, you put hand towels down the toilet, and now it's blocked.
Yeah.
Like, I don't use that toilet. That's the ladies' toilet. I've never been in there.
I have my own personal one. Yeah.
But it's the fact that like he's not even from this country. He might get deported because he's going to lose his work visa if he loses his job, and he's got a family over here, and it's just like, man, sometimes companies really don't think about the consequences of the things that they do on the individual people that they do them to. Like,
yep. Like how what was it? Like Rockstar got smashed just for the going all in to get it all finished in time, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the whole thing. I remember all the like stories that came out.
Yeah, and it's a completely different thing. I know that, but it's just showing that you got. Well, but at the same time, I think it's slowly but surely going to become more unionized than ever before.
Yeah, like as crappy as these stories are, and as crappy as it makes us feel to talk about them over and over and over again, like I think part of the reason why it's slowly starting to get better for like games developers in the industry is because we're all talking about this stuff all the time now. Whereas like game developers or publishers or whoever could get away with stuff beforehand, it's like now it's like if you do something fucked up or you do something wrong, like people are going to find out about it, and then those people are going to write a news story about it, and then people like us are going to talk about it on podcasts over and over again. And now Moody's on the vodka, so
no, it's just water. It's just water.
It's just water. Yeah, sure. Believe you.
Yeah. I swear.
Just
maybe a little whiskey.
Maybe a little whiskey. That's what you have to do. Sit in the dark after doing this podcast and just drink a fifth of scotch.
Some depressing stories. Hear me?
Like it's. Keith complained about this as well.
I watched a depressing movie last night, and now I'm talking about depressing news stories.
Look, it's fine, right? We'll do the next news story. That'll pick your spirits up, I'm sure. Number 5, WGA will no longer award video game writing. Oh, maybe not. This is from Matt Kim over at IGN, who writes, the Writers Guild of America confirmed that it is dropping the video games category from its annual awards until further notice. In a statement to IGN, a WGA spokesperson confirmed that there won't be a video game writing award in 2020. The WGA did say that the category may return in the future, however, when there is a critical mass of video games covered by the WGA in order to provide a meaningful award selection process. The WGA Awards have had a video game category since 2008. Previous winners included God of War, fucking hell yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn, and The Last of Us. Quote, very disappointed at the WGA for removing the video game category from their awards. The Last of Us Part 2 director Neil Druckmann tweeted in response to the news, a misguided slap in the face for writers. I've never joined the WGA and never will, Portal and Half-Life writer Chet Falazek tweeted. To win this award, you have to be a member. When they asked us to join so we could win, we could pay dues but not vote because game writing isn't real writing, not like having a short story published in a zine read by 12 people. It's unclear what the WGA means when it says a critical mass of video games covered by the WGA, but the organisation hasn't provided an explanation. Until then, it seems that video game writing will not be awarded at the WGA Awards for the foreseeable future. And now that I've wound you up, I'm just going to let you go.
Game writing isn't real writing?
Apparently.
What?
Yeah.
So when Telltale on episode 5 of The Walking Dead literally made me break down and cry of what I had to do, that's not real writing.
It's too soon.
When Last of Us literally gut punched me pretty much for every chapter, especially at the beginning of the game, that wasn't real writing. When I was feeling nothing but chills when I was Kratos going back to go and get his twin swords, or twin blades or whatever, in God of War, that's not real writing.
Preach. Testify.
What the hell, man? That is idiotic and stupid. There's writing in every game, man. I hear nothing but great things, especially for the emotional story of the first 3 episodes of Life is Strange 2. I haven't played them yet because I'm waiting for it to all come out and then I'm just going to smash it all.
Same.
And you're gonna do this, and come on, I'm sure freaking Kojima's probably thinking, oh, I might get a chance for the Death Stranding one. I ain't not gonna get it now, eh, mate? Even though we have no idea what the hell that game is.
I think to win an award, you have to be able to understand what the hell's going on.
but this is literally what the Oscars did last year.
I remember this story. It had pissed me off. Well, it was the thing with Netflix, wasn't it? Where it was like you have to have. Is it films like have to have a? Or am I thinking of something completely different?
Spielberg's not happy that Netflix gets put in for it because they aren't in the cinema for so long. He feels like they should be in longer. What I mean for the Oscars part, the Oscars removed 4 categories from the Showtime film event for us to watch, and I think we're just going to do it like on the side, out the way, and then we'll show you a little video clip during the commercials or something of, hey, this person won an award as well. And it was some of the biggest ones. I think it was editing, hair and makeup, cinematography, I believe, and there was one more. There was one more in it, and the whole filming world literally was up in arms at it. I was thinking, are you completely crazy here?
Yeah,
it is. It's one of the stupidest things ever, and this is the same. This is the same thing. Film writing, video game writing isn't real writing.
Video game writing,
yeah, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. So what some of my classmates are learning is not proper writing then. There was 2 of my classmates literally want to be scriptwriters for video games. So what they are doing is literally for no reason at all then. That's what they're literally just sitting there for me.
No, it's not writing, it's word drawing.
It's just tomatoes to me, that. It really is. It's tomato.
It is. Definitely not.
It's just silly. It's idiotic. I'm just like... We're all excited for pretty much half the exclusives for PlayStation release because of the writing. Well, we were always excited for a BioWare game because of the writing. Most of the time. Maybe not of late. But you know what I meant.
Back in the day.
We've been excited for some of the biggest games because of its writing, and especially with names attached to wrote it, and you're just literally slapping us all in the face.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, like, we are. Like, Last of Us Part 2 is probably my most anticipated game of 2020. Like, because,
mine?
Not because I want to torture myself with intense and gritty and graphic violence, but because the story's fucking awesome and I want more of it. Like,
we're hoping it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome. I have faith. It's like...
It's going to be a figment of our imagination.
Or it didn't happen. Awesome, or it didn't happen. It's like Final Fantasy VII. Like, I'm super looking forward to it because that's one of my favorite video game stories of all time. I know it's not the best, but you know the writing in it was pretty good. The translation could use some work, but that's neither here nor there.
They got voice actors now. It's going to be fixed.
Voice actors, fine. They won't read. Voice actors won't be able to read the lines as they were written in the original, and that's a good thing. But yeah,
that's why it took so long. They've had to get people to write the new script for it.
They had to get people to translate the English, the broken English to English.
The broken English to proper English. Yeah. Which is still not proper English.
Which, yeah. American.
American.
Like God of War last year, like the reason it was my game of the year, like above like Dead Cells and Spider-Man, which like mechanically, like from a pure gameplay perspective, I enjoyed playing Spider-Man and Dead Cells more than God of War. God of War was my absolute clear runaway game of the year last year because the writing and the story, and I felt things while I was playing it. Like, so many feelings. And all your examples were great as well, like The Walking Dead, like fucking, oh my god, like, I had a fucking breakdown when I played the fourth episode of that, like the way the fourth episode ends and then the cliffhanger, and I remember I was playing it episodically and it was like going to be 2 months till the next episode, and I had a fucking breakdown for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
And then never mind what episode 5 did to me, like, Jesus.
I was in a ball.
I went to places.
Curled up for a while.
I went to places.
I don't talk about those places.
No, they were dark places. But yeah, it's like not every game is Mario, right? Where it's like the game is exceptional, but there's not a huge amount of story there. Like most games nowadays edge closer onto the other end of the spectrum, where it's like they're closer to The Last of Us, or at least trying to be that way. Like
they're trying to have a good narrative. Like the biggest thing that annoyed people with Call of Duty last year was, where's the story? A lot of us played it for the story. I'm renting this Call of Duty this year just for the story, because I'm thinking, hey, they had an extra year to get this thing good. I want to see what they got.
Hell yeah, it's Modern Warfare. Like the Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the one from back in 2007 was legitimately a good story. Like it was a blockbuster, like action explosion story. It wasn't like, as deep or powerful as like, but it was entertaining, and like I'm genuinely looking forward to them like having another entertaining story. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Like
it's like Kevin Feige saying, "Yo, guys, we're just going to use the characters. We're not going to have scripts. We're not going to make our people. We're not going to make the fans cry when certain characters die in Endgame." We love them 3,000.
Okay. Why? Why?
It's just like a story is one of the fundamental things to start anything.
Yeah.
Film, TV show, game. Unless the game is literally just a game mechanic, it's just like Mario.
Yeah.
Like, I agree with what you're saying there. But these days they are traversing a bigger, broader aspect of it and bringing it all in together and everything. Like I love the Uncharted series for the characters and that they writ those characters. It's not just the acting; it's the written, the scripts for them and everything. And I loved Tali, my first romance on Mass Effect 2, because of the cuteness and adorableness from her, and that's the writing.
Yeah. 100%.
This is a giant slap in the face for me, to all the people who want to become a scriptwriter, or for all the people who've written scripts for games that are coming out in the next couple of years.
Yeah, because I mean, some of those stories will be better than the majority of the movies that we do win WGA awards like over the next few years. Like and I know I'm feeling the hype train potentially to very dangerous places, but like probably one of my favorite stories in like game, movie, book, whatever over like the next few years will probably be The Last of Us Part 2. Like,
yeah, I think we'll be talking about that game for 2 years. Yeah, especially when it comes to the game of the year of next year.
Yeah, there are certain games as you go through a year that you constantly talk about over and over again. Like this year, like not always for good reasons, but this year it's sort of like Resident Evil, Apex, Anthem, and like next year, like we'll be talking about The Last of Us like the whole year.
Like everyone's excited for the new Star Wars game.
Yeah, man.
Because it's a story.
It's a Star Wars game. It's a Star Wars game.
It's not just for the mechanics. They want to know and get to know these characters. They want to see the world expand even more in a different and a unique way.
I'll be a Jedi. I've always wanted to be a Jedi.
Sith, man. Sith.
I knew.
When Darth Vader said I was your father, I was just like, you're right. You are.
You are sorry. You're basically Kylo Ren.
Yeah, I'm his nephew.
You're just like worshipping an altar of his like broken helmet.
My nephew with daddy issues. And emo hair.
Gotta have
I shaved it off. As
you
can see, I've shaved it off. Let's cheer ourselves up.
Let's cheer ourselves up. Let's talk about the games that are coming out this week, because there's one or two. On October 8th, there are a lot of games coming out. We've got Concrete Genie on PS4. We've got Indivisible on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Call of Cthulhu is coming out on Switch. Trine 4: The Nightmare Prince is coming out on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair is coming out on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. And John Wick Hex is coming out on PC. Oh, and the Bradwell Conspiracy is coming out on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. That's not all. On October 10th, Mistover is coming out on PC, PS4, and Switch. And Valfaris is coming out on PC and Switch. And then on October 11th, Grid is coming out on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Killer Queen Black is coming out on PC and Switch. Eterno Blade 2 is coming out on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. And Doraemon Story of Seasons is coming out on PC and Switch. Any highlights for you on that list? Anything you might be looking forward to playing? It's basically indie game week.
Yeah, it is, because it's very quiet all the way up to Call of Duty, to what I can tell, which is really weird for October. October is namely the Broktober month.
You can tell you do movies and I do video games because I'm looking at this list, and I don't know if you can see the sweat that just suddenly started pouring down my head.
So you're like, okay.
Oh god,
that's like 10 games I've got to play there.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of games I'm looking forward to on there. Like John Wick Hex makes me nervous because I still haven't caught up. Because my whole thing of watching the John Wick movies was because the game was coming out and I wanted to understand the game because the game looks really cool.
Shoots people in their head. That's what I can literally tell.
I watched the first two so far, and I fucking
and a puppy died in the first one. And that's why we hated everybody in that movie.
That's why everybody died.
Yeah. For that puppy, everyone must die.
Yeah. I love those films.
If I was to pick one, I would probably say John Wick. But I won't lie, I haven't seen much about it either, so.
It looks cool. You should check it out. Mike Bethel's making it.
I was going to say, it's Biffle, isn't it?
Yeah, Mike Bethel. I like his games. I was a big fan of Thomas Was Alone. I met him once at EGX. Before I started doing podcasting and stuff, is when I was still blogging. And he was promoting his second game volume for 2 EGXs. And then, so the first EGX I went to, sat down, played his game. It's he was there. But I was really shy. I know, perish the thought, but there was a time when I was really shy. And it was he was coming up and talking to everybody after they'd finished playing the demo. And it was Mike Bethel. I'd played Thomas Was Alone. I was a big fan of Mike Bethel.
Yeah.
And he was talking to me oh, so how did you find it? And I was like, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it was good. Yeah. No, I really liked it. Oh, was there anything? And literally the only thing I basically said to him was, I found a bug in his game. And then I panicked and ran away.
But for developers, we want to know that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We want to know. That's what he wants to know. So yeah, that's funny.
So
my partner was the same when we saw Andy Serkis at EGX. Oh damn. Yeah, I've got the picture of her. It's the funniest picture ever. Because she's awesome. She's like,
it's Andy Serkis.
With Andy Serkis next to him, just smiling nicely like normal, and she's like a little statue.
Just faking frozen like a deer in headlights. Oh, but there's a part 2 to this story. My Mike Bethel story. So I go to EGX the next year, and Volume's there again, and so Mike Bethel's there, and I'm I'm gonna go. I've already played Volume, right? Once at EGX, but I'll play it again. I'm gonna make up for last year, and I'm actually gonna have a conversation with Mike Bethel. And so I went across when I had some time, and I played it. I sat down. I was like, "Oh, there's Mike Bethel. Yeah, he's standing there. He's talking." Sat down, played the demo, stood up, and he was gone. And he'd gone to do an interview or something. I can't remember. Ended up standing at the booth for half an hour talking to his girlfriend, fiance, wife. I can't remember the relationship because she makes puppets. So I ended up spending half an hour talking to her about puppets. And then I was like, I can't wait for Mike Bethel anymore. I'm going to have to go. And I've never seen him since.
He saw you. He remembered you from the year before. And he's like,
you
person who hated he said I had a bug in my game. Yeah. No.
I will not speak to this person.
Yeah. Bless you.
Oh, man.
Bless you. I've messaged him I've hit him up on Twitter saying, yo, dude, I'm a given film. Come up with Gabe Ted. We would love to hear from you. And Gabe Ted retweeted it. I was like, yes!
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Nothing.
If you get Mike Bethel up,
He's a busy man. I can appreciate that.
I mean, he's got a game. Yeah, he does have a game coming out.
Yeah, he's got a game coming out. So.
But I'll if he comes, tweet me, and I'll try and third time's the charm.
So, yeah, you may not remember her, but here's a friend of mine, Amy.
She's been trying to have this conversation with you for 6 years.
So what's 2 add 2? I had to make sure.
That is going to do it for episode 178. That's a perfect place to end. Episode 178 for the Words About Gamescast. Moody, you're a legend. You're glorious. Thank you for jumping in on this podcast. I've had a blast.
Thank you for having me.
This will not be the last time I invite you.
And I will get you back on mine as well, no doubt about it, especially for Star Wars. Gotta
check your DMs next week.
That trailer's coming, mate. That trailer is coming, Amy. There's no doubt about it. I can't wait for it.
It might already be out. We might have missed it while we were recording.
My internet would be blowing up right now.
True.
So
mine is, but that's Star Trek related.
Disney don't need them, so don't need it. So
yeah, that's true. They can do whatever they want, whenever they want.
They can just like, boop. There we go. Silent drop. What? 5 minutes, it's already breaking the internet.
Oh yeah, the internet's broken clean in half within like 2 minutes of them dropping that trailer, which is weird because it's a 2.5 minute trailer, so no one could have watched it yet.
That is true. That is true. They fast forward it.
Yeah, man. You watch it on 1.5 times speed, so you can be the first person to give a hot take on Twitter.
Oh yeah,
I mean.
She stabs this person, and I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on. It's all happening so fast. Everyone's talking like a
shooting lightning. It's like, oh my god. Thank you, Amy, for having me on.
Say bye, Mr. Movie.
Bye, everybody. Peace out. Stay glorious.